And I'm going to read some poems from my new collection, which is called The Ghost of Franz Kafka. Copies are on sale over there, by a fantastic coincidence. So this first one, just a good bit of Brexit bashing really, called The Fools. The leavers celebrate with Belgian lager, flick through brochures for a now more costly Spanish holiday, plan a day trip to Boulogne for booze and baccy while they can. The fools were lied to, but they didn't stop to think. Now they take to drink and mourn their sinking nation, Europe's embarrassing relation. Rule Britannia, just an empty slogan. At rainbow's end, no gold, just icy isolation. So wave goodbye to Scotland and to Ireland, those sensible folk who voted in, leaving England and Wales to down another gin, no tonic for their sin. The party's over, the hangover begun, time to bag up all the junk. Common sense has done a bunk, when all is said and done, we're sunk. Refugee. Refugee is living in fear every second of every day. Refugee is seeing your children killed, terrified for the ones that live. Refugee is realizing that escape is a place with no name. Refugee is fleeing with just a suitcase and your loved ones. Refugee is losing all you own, your home, its memories. Refugee is giving your money to a gangster, letting that gangster risk your life in a leaky boat. Refugee is the jubilation of survival as you scrabble onto dry land. Refugee is the kindness of strangers offering shelter and warmth. Refugee is continuing your journey on a pitiless road, bullet-faced men guarding razor wire fences. Refugee is watching a continent pull up its drawbridge. Refugee is freezing camps in winter, all dignity stripped away. Refugee is wicked politicians peddling a currency of hate. Refugee is the miracle of completing the obstacle course. Refugee is being lifted by strong hands, words soothing as balm. Welcome friend, welcome home, come share our land. This is a poem about something my parents used to enjoy doing together, and my father was an electrician. No, it's not that. I'm sure they enjoy that as well, otherwise I wouldn't be here. So this is Time and the Man. My mother bought broken clocks at jumble sales. My father mended them. Spent hours fiddling with the mechanisms, uncoiling the stuck springs. With his sharp electrician's eye and nimble fingers used to separating wires, he pried apart the innards until discovering the secret hurt at the heart of time. Hours later at tea time, we tiptoed in, found him trance-like, hands cupped to the mechanism, released from its cage of inactivity. Time tick-tocking rhythmically, majestically, setting time going as shadows crossed the room, and we longed for our Saturday sausages and the coming of the moon. When Seamus Heaney died, it was as though a huge pillar of poetry had collapsed and took something very important with it. But fortunately we still have the poem, so this is a lament for Seamus. As summer passed, so did you, leaving as you always did, a generous space for others. Once I saw you read in London, a benign god descended from the mountain, coupling links of the human chain. Your work travelled well. In Florence we sat up late, drinking wine, entranced by your voice and Liam's piping, poems that lingered in the night, causing me to rise at dawn, pen my own verse, giddy with the richness of language found. And now, sad day, I come home, weighed down with groceries, hear your name on the news, which cannot be good news. What's a poet doing amid the lunchtime wars and warring? You are gone, and now forever here, leaving us alone with summer's beauty, the certain truth you fashioned from your poetry. This is a kind of self-commissioned poem. We did many shows at a place called the Colour House Theatre in Merton Abbey Mills, sometimes, usually this summer. And Merton Abbey Mills was right next door to the site where William Morris founded his first factory in the 19th century. So this is our neighbour Bill. Here where we are tonight, William Morris set the world alight, producing textiles for discerning homes, some whose furniture included thrones. The Queen hung his paper in Balmoral, rankling with the great man's morals. All the time his socialist heart insisted workers should share his art. He believed that wealth tore sin and set to write the story out, how capital would take a rout. In News from Nowhere, Dream of John Ball, he showed how power would take a fall. By the Wandle, he created jobs for human beings, not cogs. Kelmscott Manor, the Red House, designed to show beauty and utility together go. Marxist, realist, friend of Engels, medieval dreamer, political schemer, skillful weaver of art and verse, our neighbour Bill was all these things, sharing life with passionate friends. Rossetti, Janey and Burne-Jones, so much talent in these few homes. How many lives did William lead? Enough to write 2 epic poems, The Earthly Paradise, The Golden Loom, and splendid versions of Nordic tales set dancing to a mighty tune. He formed the Art Workers Guild, the Socialist League, permitting art to live, ideas to breathe. Rich was the work, but time was thin. No man of flesh fits so much in. Dead at 58. A physician said, he died of being William Morris, I think. Not pleurisy, gout, or too much drink. There goes a man who never stopped, till time's winged chariot called a halt. On Wandle's banks he laid his schemes. Tonight we honour William's dreams. The river rolling through his life belongs to you, as he hoped and knew that liberty should make us proud. Let's say it here, let's say it loud, and raise a glass to William Morris, a roaring lion with a poet's kiss. Ooh. This is The Darkest Stars, and this was, I wrote this after learning that since 2011, at least 150 Tibetans, many of them young monks or nuns, have self-immolated, set fire to themselves, and most died from their injuries in protest against the occupation by China. The Darkest Stars. Through these flames we seek freedom, our immolated flesh singeing darker stars. Our voices speaking, listeners recoil at this challenge to our rude imprisonment, the scorching of our precious soil, our exiled leaders' eloquent resistance. As the new year turns, spare a prayer for us. Set it spinning on your wheel. Understand our desperate plea, our reddening anger, our white-hot steel. This is my last poem in the first half, and it's called National Poetry Day. I spend National Poetry Day, as I normally do, in London, going from one venue to another, and on the way home, slightly inebriated, I was asked that question you always dread: what is poetry? So this is National Poetry Day. Taking a cab from the station, I tell the driver I've been at poetry readings all day. What is poetry, he says. Now I'm on the spot. What is poetry? Emboldened by drink, I say, poetry is music, but words without music. He thinks for a moment. You like music then? Yes, but that's not it. Not poetry exactly. He changes gear. We listen to Muzak FM. Poetry is a moment when someone says something so extraordinary you write it down. I don't say this out loud. That'll be £5, he says, pulling into the curb. Thanks, I say. This is what poetry is all about. I say this out loud, and he recognises a drunk if ever he's seen one. I'd like to introduce